feels like only yesterday we kicked off Roster Reset here on Good Morning Football, and alas, we are at the end, the conclusion. For 2 weeks, all of our experts on the network and NFL media analysts host The Breakfast Table. We've been breaking down one division a day to tell you about draft needs, biggest offseason acquisitions, losses, and so on. So there go, what so have you. Let's take a look and include the entire conference, the NFC. Which team in this thing is set to make the biggest leap in 2021, Kyle?
And the whole dang thing?
The whole thing.
All 16 teams?
All 16.
I'm going to do it. We talk about this team all the time the same way. Arizona Cardinals. Let's go. You ever have one of these things where there's this actor who's like constantly we're told that like they're going to be a thing, like, and they have this project and that project. And you keep waiting. You're like, when is this going to break out? Like, do you guys know who the actor Jai Courtney is?
Nope.
Exactly. Jai Courtney is this really cool Australian guy who's in like Suicide Squad and that one last Die Hard movie, and like he's really cool and good looking and everything, but like he's in a movie every 5 minutes and then none of them blow up. Go and Google it. Jai, J-A-I Courtney.
Okay.
And I root for him, and I hope he does really well. But I feel like the Arizona Cardinals are the Jai Courtney of the NFL.
That's the greatest analogy ever.
Peter,
the Arizona Cardinals, a team that no one's talking about, is the Jai Courtney of the NFL.
But all it takes is one big hit.
Yes.
All it takes is one big movie.
And it was going to be I, Frankenstein, but it didn't work out. This has to be the hit for the Cardinals, because if only someone in the media was keeping track of the top 5 teams that better make the playoffs this year and making a running threat out of it. Give me my full screen. These 5 teams damn well better be in the playoffs. The Raiders, runaway at number 1. Cardinals, Giants, you got to do something. Broncos, it's been forever, and Cowboys are the Cowboys. But the Cardinals at 2. What else do they need to set up? Their offense is loaded.
Yep.
Their defense has added players. 3rd year for the head coach. 3rd year for the quarterback. I don't know if the division is necessarily better in the NFC West. This is time for the breakout role. The Ansel Elgort only gets so many shots before we have to go see the movie. Cardinals, you're set. It's turnkey. Let's go.
Even the MIT kids were like, this is the best transaction in history with DeAndre Hopkins.
That's right.
Kyler Murray. Let's go.
History. You can't scratch a wild. What do you have to be like 5-12 now to get in the wild card in this league? Get in the wild card. Let's go.
And so great in that Rocket Man. So he's had his hit, but you're right. Jai Courtney.
Jai's never been in anything.
The thing he's got going for him, though, is his SAG card's really strong.
Terminator Genesis.
Terminator
Exactly.
Not
we need Jai Courtney Genesis.
Divergent, friend of the show.
Divergent, yes.
Works.
Cowboys is my team.
Ansel Elgort was not Rocket.
Oh, he wasn't?
He's Baby Driver.
Oh.
You're thinking of Taron Egerton.
That's who I'm thinking of.
What are these names? Ansel Elgort, they're like Star Wars characters. What do you got, Peter?
Jai Courtney. Now, Cowboys, and I think I'm going to bring the ratings maybe a little higher talking Cowboys than Jai Courtney.
Robert De Niro.
I'm going to fill us. I'm going to drag us in here.
Go on.
Cowboys. Last year was a disaster. We know it was a disaster, but let's make up the excuses for them. Mike McCarthy, first year, kind of thrown into it in a COVID situation. Defense was atrocious. Dak Prescott goes down. Where else can you go than up? Now you get year 2 of McCarthy. You now also add in a defensive coordinator in Dan Quinn that hopefully can ready this thing and can steady this thing, because this was historically one of the worst defenses we've ever seen. Mike Nolan took all the heat for that. He's gone. But gosh, Dan Quinn, there is a big responsibility because everyone's expecting this defense to get much better. Now I think they will. I really do. And I think there was injuries on the offensive line. And now that you have a situation where we're a year into the McCarthy era and Dak is now settled with his contract, the talent is there. It always has been. And for the 5th year, 6th year, 7th year, let's go back to the Romo, 15th year in a row, I'm going to say this might be the year the Cowboys get over the hump and are the team that's representing the NFC. Like, they've got all the talent.
Yeah.
Ansel Elgort?
Ansel Elgort, yeah, that's the guy.
Well, we're certainly rooting for them. We like when the Cowboys.
It's good. It's good for everybody because it's either love them or you hate them. So it's good for the audience when the Cowboys... Irrelevant for the Cowboys does nobody any favors.
It's not an offseason if we're not saying the Cowboys and the Chargers are going to get over the hump. So I'm glad we checked that box. That's good.
It's been a while since we said, how about them Cowboys, sincerity? And since you're talking Cowboys, I want to talk 49ers. Let's bring it back to the early 90s.
Go on.
Back when they were going against each other every week, it seemed like, in the playoffs and every year. Look, the 49ers, I think when you look back at what happened last year, to Kyle, to piggyback off what you're saying, look, we keep waiting for Jimmy Garoppolo to have his big hit, to have his big move, his big coming out party. The 49ers last year went 6-10. And if you want to take a look at the injuries that they had to weather and what Kyle Shanahan had to deal with, offensively, your starting quarterback missed 10 games. Debo missed 9 games. Your starting running back, Raheem Mostert, missed half the season. George Kittle, probably your best player on offense, misses half the season. On the other side of the ball, look at D Ford, Nick Bosa,
Double
Thomas.
digits.
I mean, this is just, it was a travesty what happened to this roster. They got ravaged. And yet, they went in to Arizona with C.J. Beathard and won. They beat Kyler Murray. They beat Jai. They won against the Rams
Jai Courtney.
with Nick Mullins
like,
at quarterback. They're winning football games with their second and third quarterback. And I'm looking at the 49ers saying, look, if everything goes as planned and they end up getting their quarterback with the 3rd overall pick and Jimmy G goes all in like Aaron Rodgers did after they drafted a quarterback last year,
Super Bowl contender?
I think you look at the 49ers, it's a completely different team. Number one, if those guys stay healthy, I think bringing in Alex Mack is going to help them in the middle. Weston Richburg has been banged up. It's not his fault. But Alex Mack coming back home to California.
Peter Schrager's been talking about them being a sneaky, like, don't forget about this team in the NFC, and then that trade. This was a long time ago, just based off what you said, and those injuries and their coaching and leadership. Quickly, I'll bring up the Panthers, just because I feel like we have to. Peter, the questions surrounding Sam Darnold are staggering, but I thought about this. Does he even have to be that good? Does he have to be a Pro Bowler? If you look at the rest of that roster, they added pieces. They've got an 8th overall pick, Schrags. They can add another weapon. They have Christian McCaffrey coming back. So they can add an offensive lineman to help protect that, make things happen for Christian and help protect Sam Darnold. I sneaky don't think he has to be one of the best quarterbacks in the league for this team to actually do some damage. They've got a young, feisty defense. Schrags, you put Jeremy Chin on the map. On this show, he is there. Derek Brown, Brian Burns, maybe not household names. Young, feisty, scrappy, tough division, gauntlet. But I think they could take a leap. I hope that they do. Because it's like you're saying about COVID with the Cowboys and like all these guys having to be thrown in. Same thing with Rule.
And, Kay, to your point, we're watching the highlights of him right now. He might be the best player in football that's not a quarterback, and he didn't play last year. When he did against the Chiefs, he put up 160 yards. McCaffrey coming back is everything. That's who they built the offense around. He wasn't there last year. So, gosh, Panthers, I don't know if the NFC South's so loaded. Falcons might be down. The Saints might be down. Buccaneers, who knows if they're going to be as good. Panthers could be a surprise too.
Pick a stud at 8 overall on offense, and let's get going, Carolina Panthers. Okay, Kyle, game show time? What?
It's the end of the Rodgers era. That tonight is the grand finale of the Aaron Rodgers hosting Jeopardy era. 10 episodes up, 10 down tonight. We will do the coup de grace in Jeopardy, which is called Running the Category. Right after this, intensity up to 10. Let's go.
Jordan Love next week.